So heaven and hell. A lot of people think heaven and hell is some kind of place that you go to when you die, or some kind of place that you go to when God sends you to heaven. Yeah, contrary to popular belief, you are already inside of heaven and hell. Yeah, bruh, it's called the mental disposition. On top of that, we're gonna go deeper. But heaven and hell is not no place in some mythical realm. You could call it the mythical realm if you want. See, the definition doesn't really matter as long as we understand what we're pinpointing to as far as the location that we spend time in. You could say that heaven is just your first house, your head to your seventh house, and you can say that hell is from your seventh house down to your 12th house. You can say that heaven is the yang. You can say that hell is your yin. You can say that hell is your root chakra. You can say that heaven is your third eye, first eye. Some people say third eye chakra. I really call that your first eye chakra because before you even had these physical eyes to realize this physical reality, you were seeing with a different eye, and you was transported via your resonance when it comes to your awareness and things like that. So heaven and hell is really basically a spectrum of energy that we create with our mind based on us as an observer, observing certain parts of our reality and creating an accumulation of thoughts and feelings in an area, or that shit takes us there. Basically, heaven and hell, you literally bring that shit to you, and it's not. They're both literally not even a bad thing. You can bounce between both. You can use both like a bitch and things like that. All it really means is that in hell, there's things that there's chaotic things. There's things that there's things that are out of control. There's things that are suffering. You can look at that as baggage inside of your yin realm, baggage inside of your subconscious, your unconscious, thoughts and feelings that you've been supposed to let go of. And once you let go of those, you free space for more heaven, aka more angelic energies, you being able to separate from feelings that you don't necessarily need. Some people say that hell is the color red, being aggressive, being transformative, but that has to do with the root chakra as well, root chakra activation. So being aggressive, the two different polarities of these is like Scorpio and Aries. So it's like literally none of these things is a bad thing. You just gotta understand how to use these things for your benefit, and not solely just for your benefit, but also to be a fully integrated human being. As far as you not being extremely divided, because it's something I'm working on myself. So a lot of humans, colored beings of light, drop down to this density and become divided from within because they have fallen for something externally, and now they are spiraling downwards instead of going inwards and being able to spiral upwards. And so, we get lost in division, and often we don't really create the division ourselves. Hey, sometimes you can go out and you can create division on purpose for whatever you might be. They call this shit chaos magic. You go out there and you cause chaos on purpose. Kind of like how the shadow government already do. They go out there, they cause some chaos, and then they're like, oh, no, brother, praise Jesus. We got the solution. Here you go. And so this is how they be reorganizing. This is how they be restructuring the world. So you can see that the shadow government themselves use these things in real time to destroy the world and build the world. Like, let's say when it came to Christians and when it came to Protestants, Christians were like supposedly the first ones that came up with that concept. Anyway, that's a long story. But in modern day times, they're the ones who own that intellectual property, Christianity, whatever, the Pope, and things like that. Now, you can look at a group of people like the Protestants or whatever that's taking their intellectual property, their concept, and trying to do something different with it. So in their mind, they created a heaven called the Vatican, and the Jesuits priests went out and converted a bunch of people, but now they have this group of people called Protestants trying to get more people into what they're doing and believe in what they're doing, but it's based on someone else's intellectual property. So what this group of people is going to do is try to create some kind of hellistic situation in for this group so that they can give them a solution again. Hey, brothers and sisters, look, you guys need to return to Christianity because that's the true path, blah, 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 regardless about right or wrong. So you can see how they're putting these people in spectrums of energy. Now we have even in Islam, for example, there's like literally new sects in Islam or whatever. But the point being is, if you can create a hell for a group of people, and then you can offer them a solution. Hey, guy, like you put somebody in hell. Let's say like you got a girlfriend, she want to put you in hell every day because you're not giving her what you want. The moment you give her what she want, you put her in heaven, or maybe she might feel like she's in hell because of your actions. Although people be self-reflecting their own thoughts and feelings, and you need to take responsibility for whatever, because it takes two to tango. Whatever you put in is what you get out. So whatever, even the female, whatever she put into the situation as far as feelings, she already putting herself in hell. All she has to do is separate from those feelings. But again, because a lot of spirits don't know how to get outside of the demonic energies, they just be trying to create a situation for that to be seen, felt, heard, or touched, or whatever. So we have these energy dynamics that we play all the time between putting someone in hell and putting somebody in heaven. And so we might play with these frequencies and things like that unknowingly. But now that you heard it here, you can start to see that more in the world, more and more and more in the world. So for example, if you throw the company you're working for under the bus, and you're working for a company, let's say a logistics company, and you're not doing the deliveries that they need to do on time, that might purposely, want to put you in a situation where you're in hell, and they want to be like, okay, tomorrow we don't have any work, blah blah blah. Knowingly, they may have some work, but they want to put you in hell because they want to make you feel like that they are your version of heaven, and whatever they provide you with, you need to do it, and you need to go there. Now, granted that you denied doing that delivery, that puts you in heaven because you was able to go to work early, but that put them in hell because that workload now went to somebody else's shift, and now they have to deal with that shit. So you can start to see how heaven and hell is actually a concept that we play out in every day. When you put hell is like aggression, transformation, you wanting someone to see things the way you want to see things. Heaven is like this chilled place where things are already accomplished, things are already achieved, where you don't have to worry, you don't have to doubt, you don't have to fear, because you know that, it's about, mostly though, it's just about really maintaining the energy. Because again, heaven is just a state of mind. But you can see how this energy dynamic plays out in the world where, some people's gonna try to put you in heaven. Some people's gonna try to put you in hell, and even the people that put you in the spectrum of heaven with their own chakras, whatever version of them, whatever that version that they have in their mind, that is, or whatever. Because for some people, whatever good they've experienced in the world, that becomes heaven. So let's say you got your ass beat every single day by your friends or whatever, and you hanging out alone, you find that peaceful. You find that as a moment of tranquility. So that lets you harness more positive aspects of yourself. So your friends, that might be like, or they just might have bullied you, made fun of you, you might take that seriously, whatever. They might be like, yeah, dude, come hang out with us. You might be like, to them, that's heaven. Yeah, come hang out with us. Come associate. Come hang out. Things like that. To you, that's like, yeah, I don't want to do that because that you guys put me in hell. I'm in heaven right now. I'm alone. I'm tranquil. I'm peaceful. To them, like, that doesn't make sense, bro. Because people's version of heaven and hell don't agree with each other. So this is why I love how Kevin Hart says, live, love, and laugh, because you should let people live. You should love people regardless. And at the end of the day, you should have a laugh from whatever you were so attached to in terms of the feeling, in terms of hell. And you should let that go because you realize now that that's really just your own personal idea and has nothing to do with the world as a collective. This is why we have to be able to develop empathy and put ourselves in other people's shoes and see things from other people's perspectives, because your perception is just based on whatever you've experienced growing up, whether it's bad or good. You've created that perception and things like that. And so our ideas of heaven and hell become completely distinct and completely different. And so, we attract this heaven and hell via our resonance and things like that. And so, there's certain scenarios that people are extremely attached to, certain scenarios that people are extremely don't want to unattach to. And so in your own mind, when you play this out now in your side of your mind, when it comes to your mentality, now we talk about examples from the third dimension and things like that. Now we want to talk about fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth dimension, was just like how you bring in thoughts and feelings, and you got to do some kind of mental kung fu and be able to block those things and not worry about those things and block those things before they even enter your mind. because you don't want a thought and a feeling that puts you in a hellistic state of mind to stay there for too long, because little do you know that's actually getting ready to manifest and become a person, place, or thing. Again, think about the people that become angry quick. Like, let's say, let's say you real shit. Let's say could be just simple as, there's a sock in your room. Your mom and dad walked in. They start to flip. Chances are, during that day, they was already vibrating on that frequency. So that now that that physical event dropped down, you know, they went off because there was already a carrier of that energy, and so that's the energy they was gonna push out. Versus throughout the day, if they was practicing a peaceful disposition that was putting themselves in heaven, aka their place of tranquility, their place of peace. Don't let me put the definition on your heaven, because your heaven is whatever you're gonna create for yourself at the end of the day. Keep that in mind also. So that person is gonna, just be in their version of heaven. So you don't want to put yourself inside of hell purposely, but yet this is what we all do every single day. We purposely put ourselves in heaven by hell through our thoughts and feelings, and we purposely reject things that are actually good for us and things that are benevolent for us in terms of a state of mind. Because here's why: because chances are you've never experienced heaven in your own mind and body, because you've rejected heaven. Think about it. If you wake up in the morning and all you see is negative, let's say all you've seen was negative. But see, there's a balance between these two. That's why it's amazing. But if you've always seen negative, you're always gonna manifest negative. But yet, chances are, if you were experiencing so much negative, God also had to put you in that situation because he was probably fucking up so much in another life and things like that. Or you as a person, that source saw that you can handle that type of shit, and he really need you to experience that so you can start to tell other people, hey, look, I made it out of this, so it's not really a big deal. So you really gotta look at the things that you gain from it and not so much look at the negative things from it, because when you focus on the negative, you're only gonna attract negative. Not just physically, man. Fuck the physical, okay? Fuck the physical. You want to worry about your mental realm, because this is where you experience hell mostly. This is why your head starts heating up, your body starts heating up, you start sweating, you start getting nervous, you start getting jittery, you start getting impatient, because you're creating a hell for yourself inside of your own body. So nothing might have happened in the third dimension, because it takes a minute, it takes a while for third dimensional circumstances and situations for them to manifest, since we literally see physical matter take time to formulate. I'm pretty sure the earth didn't just appear out of nowhere, like God was like, bam, nigga. There was a process to that shit, and there was an accumulation to that shit. So you don't want to put yourself in a mental space or realm of reality where when third dimensional things happen, you just go off based on you already being in hell, so you can't handle these situations. You want to put yourself in a mind state where you're always in your heaven, which is basically your highest possible good, which you're thinking, which you should be thinking about 24/7, 365, so that even when a bad things happen, you're already in heaven. And that don't mean you run away from reality, like you refuse to acknowledge and deal with the situation that's in front of you head on. No, that's not what it means. It doesn't mean run away. That's not what spirituality means. You take responsibility for your bullshit, and you take and you be the wiser spirit around amongst people, places, and things. Because people can't see in the dark, and you saw some shit in the dark. You gotta take responsibility now. You can't just be afraid, scared, worried, doubtful. All these dispositions. Just even me saying these words, I feel like I'm affecting myself, because I'm pointing to my brain that, and spirits in the darkness, they don't know what that is. They just know you're pointing to that realm and feeling. And so when you summon even a residue of that inside of you, those spirits, because they're having a dream, a lot of them is not even like aware to even like get out of that. A lot of them is still waiting to get into a body to figure out the shit that they get lost in. Or so a lot of them is like new spirits that haven't been even born yet or experienced it, haven't experienced shit yet. So they're just literally in the atoms, in the particles, still becoming aware of themselves as a space, because you became aware of yourself as a space for you to even be the leader of this organization you call a series of organs in the bodies, for you to even be the observer of the motherfuckers, and you being the leader of that shit. So, just remember that heaven and hell is a mental disposition that you create in your life via your mind, and you want to put yourself in heaven because eventually you better believe it. You're going to manifest heaven in your life if you just maintain that space in your mind. And then even when you go to sleep, you're going to be able to see those things play out in your dreams. And that's like your own mind giving you confirmation that, yeah, we believe in this shit. You sold this dream to my subconscious, unconscious, and yeah, now you can start to see even playing out in your dream that you're a bad motherfucker. You're getting all them girls. You're getting all them cars. You're doing all the things that you previously thought is impossible. Because it starts with the body language. It starts with a neurological signal from your brain. Zoop, you start just acting differently. You start speaking differently. You start verbalizing differently. All these tools manifest via you putting yourself in that space of heaven. But if you put yourself in hell, then you're gonna manifest the body languages of hell. Oh, I'm hurt. Oh, I'm worried. Oh, I'm doubtful. Now just keep in mind, both are necessary because if you don't get burned a little bit in hell, you wouldn't recognize the value of heaven. If you didn't enjoy heaven, you wouldn't know necessarily how to get people out of their lostness in hell, and you wouldn't have a testimony to go to heaven, which is to go from glory to glory to glory, to be changing. So every day you should be examining your mental pattern. You shouldn't be accepting the narrative that you have sold to yourself and you've repeated to yourself, because right now you're speaking to yourself, you're verbalizing to yourself some shit that you've always been regurgitating. It might be like, oh, I'm a loser. Oh, I'm a sucker. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I don't know how to do that. But all of that is just a narrative, and all that is just a series of verbs that create a sentence that you have sold to yourself repeatedly, and now that shit has become like a strand, like a strand now solidifying itself, and you wanna you wanna desolidify that shit, and you wanna help that shit let go. That's why you have to let go. So you need to learn. You need to learn to let go. When you learn to do that, yo, man, you're on your way to fucking heaven. You better believe it. Real shit.